We begin with the set of natural numbers, n. Natural numbers are equally called the set of cardinal numbers. The first natural number being 0, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and so on. All natural numbers are whole numbers. N star represents a set of natural numbers excluding 0. In the world of natural numbers, there are two types of identity elements. We have the additive identity element, which is 0, and the multiplicative identity element, which is 1. Let's start with the additive identity element, 0. The additive identity element is that number that when you add to any number, the number remains the same or unchanged, and that number is 0. Under this operation, the additive inverse of any number is the negative of that number. For example, the additive inverse of 2 is minus 2, additive inverse of 11 is minus 11. And for the multiplicative identity element, which is 1, 1 is that number that when you multiply any number by 1, the number remains unchanged. Under this operation, the inverse, that's the multiplicative inverse of any element, is 1 divided by that element. So it's just the same as the reciprocal of element. Oops. Let's recall equally that sum means addition, difference is subtraction, product is multiplication, and quotient is addition. In this operation as well, 29 divided by 7 giving us 4, remainder 1. Note that 29 here is the dividend, 7 the divisor, 4 the quotient, and 1 the remainder. Like the song we always sing from 4 or 5, dividends divided by divisor equals quotient plus a remainder. And note, if the remainder is 0, it means that the divisor is a factor of the dividend. Equally, we have the set of integers, and integers are positive and negative whole numbers represented by the letter capital Z, ranging from negative infinity to positive infinity. Z star represents the set of integers excluding 0, and Z plus means positive integers, and positive integers are the same like natural numbers. You equally have negative integers, which are negative numbers from negative infinity right down to 0. Here you have to take note that the number 0 is a neutral number. It is both a positive number and a negative number, and as well all the sets which you have mentioned so far are infinite sets. Oops, recall as well that addition and multiplication are commutative operations. Why? Because when you swap the positions of the numbers before and after the operation, the results remain the same. For example, A times B is the same as B times A. 2 times 5 is the same as 5 times 2 gives the same result, and it holds same for addition. 2 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 2, the results are the same. That's why we say these operations are commutative. Note, however, that subtraction and division do not follow the same rules. They are not commutative at all. Multiplication has another property which is unique to it. It is distributive over addition and subtraction. Let's look at an example of the distributive property. You have 2 into 5 plus 4. You can equally write it as 2, or for another example, 2 into 5 minus 4. So here we see that 2 into 5 plus 4 can be written as 2 times 5 in bracket plus another bracket 2 times 4. Here multiplication is distributive over addition. If I now replace the addition sign with subtraction, we say it is distributive over subtraction. Take notes on the following. Rational numbers, that is capital Q, that's their representation, are fractions. Rationals are fractions. Irrational numbers are numbers in the root form. For example, you have root 2, root 5, root 7, root 11, and so on. Real numbers, represented by capital R, are numbers that exist. N star is a subset of the set of N, and N is the same as Z plus. Z plus is a subset of Z, and Z is a subset of R set relations. Let's take a look at intervals. In mathematics, there are generally 3 types of intervals. We have open intervals, closed intervals, and half intervals. Let's start with the open interval. It is represented like this, or using, that is square brackets, using square brackets the first case, but the brackets are not closed, or using open, that's the normal brackets, AB, or this is the third representation using inequalities. So it can be represented in one of these three ways, and the number line can equally give another representation. Now, when it's represented like this, open interval means the boundaries are not included. For example, with the last one, -2 and -3 are not included. So if I have to give the whole numbers in this interval, I will have -1, 0, 1, and 2. And representing this on the number line, I have from -2 to 3, but the -2 and -3 are not included, so I do not shade the circles. Then we have half intervals. We can be half open, half closed, or half closed, half open. In this first case here, we have open at B and closed at A, opened at C and closed at D, open at B and closed at A, open at C and closed at D. The second one that's been shown is completely closed. So if you have this half interval, you can see that using inequalities, one of the inequality has an equal to sign, the other one does not. It means that it's a half interval. So the elements here, 2, that's -2 is included, but 3 is not included. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, if I'm to give the whole numbers in this interval. So using the number line as well, it is closed at -2, so we shade, but we do not shade at 3. Then for closed intervals, we have complete square brackets that are closed. So it's represented with square brackets, and for each of the inequalities used, the equal to sign is included, and their number line representation, the circles are shaded, circles. Now take note on the following. 8 minus 2 times 3 is not equal to 18, because most students will say 8 minus 2, 6 times 3, 18. Wrong. You have to apply the knowledge of board maths, and that will give you a result of 2. So you start with 2 times 3, which is 6. Now 8 minus 6 gives 2. Another example, root 16 is not equal to 8. That's the square root of 16 is not 8. Most students just divide by 2. Square root does not mean divide by 2. So the square root of 16 means, what is that number that when you multiply by itself, it will give you 16? And that number is 4, since 4 times 4 is 16. Then equally we have, is 4 a prime number? 4 is not a prime number. 4 is a composite number. So 4 has more than 2 factors. For a number to be a prime number, it must have only 2 factors. The first factor is 1. The second factor is itself. But 4 has broken this rule by having factors 1, 2, and 4. So it has 3 factors. Equally, note that 1 is not a prime number, and 1 is not a composite number. This other one to note, is a half a decimal fraction? No. For a number to be a decimal fraction, the denominator must be a power of 10. That is, the denominator must be something like 10 or 100 or 1000 or 10,000 and so on, a power of 10. So a half is a binary fraction because the denominator is 2. So it's a binary fraction and not a decimal fraction. Take note, which sign indicates strictly greater than? You can just say strictly greater than or just greater than. So strictly greater than here is A. That's the result. B is strictly less than or just less than. C is greater than or equal to. And D is less than or equal to. You can watch the other videos from My Maths Angel on YouTube, and most of these things have been explained there very well. My Maths Angel. Just type My Maths Angel on YouTube and you get all of this. Have you registered for this GCE Maths Panel online preps for this academic year as prepared for the GCE? You better register now and be part of our monthly mocks, weekly quizzes, which is economical classes, and prepayments monthly. Subscribe on YouTube to watch all the videos and correct. Now you can equally attend quiz 1A online visiting our blog www.gcemathspanel.blogspot.com. But for those who have registered, you can just go into the classroom and you get your quiz there. Now let's take more of this. Express 24 as a product of its prime factors. So this will give us, that's 40. 40 will be equal to 2 times 20, and that will be equal to 2 times 2 times 10, 10 can be broken down to 2 times 5, and finally 40 is 2 to the power 3 times 5 as a product of its prime factors. Then similarly 24 is the same as 2 to the power 3 times 3, or 2 to the power 3 times 3 to the power 1. Note that leaving out the power 1 just means the same thing. Simplify root 48. To do this simplification, you have to first of all look for the square number that is found in 48, and that square number is 16. So root 48 is the same as root 16 times 3, but 16 is a square number, so that will give us 4 times root 3, and this number has been simplified or broken down. Similarly, root 125 is 25 times 5, that's the root of that, which is 5 root